Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas with you this morning. Always a pleasure to welcome our friends from the Stark County District Library. We've got Julia Shaheen and Dee Rondinella in with us this morning. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning. Good morning.
You always have so much happening. So I'm looking, let's see which face looks most eager to, I can't wait to tell you, Julia, that would be you. What is going on these days? What can we look forward to?
Oh my gosh, we have so much stuff coming up, so many programs and just different things coming up at the library. Probably the most, the newest thing will be our Speaking of Books author event with Ramona Robinson, who was an icon in Cleveland, on Cleveland News. So she'll be here February 20th at 6:30 at the Palace Theater, and she'll be highlighting two of her books, A Dirt Road to Somewhere, and Your Voice is Your Power, and talking about her life story. There's more information on that on our website at starklibrary.org, so we're very excited about her.
She's iconic, I think, and one of the most likable people that you're ever going to bump into. I know her life's been interesting, and so I didn't realize until hearing from you all that she'd written books about it. Can you tell us a little bit about it without giving too much away? And we don't want to steal her thunder, certainly. But tell us a little bit about her road to becoming truly one of the most popular newscasters in Cleveland history.
Yeah, so she actually became the first African-American woman to anchor an evening broadcast in Cleveland.
Okay.
In our area. in our area.
Wow.
And so she was also the first solo anchor of a weeknight broadcast in Cleveland. So I know I grew up watching her on different news channels throughout the years. And she had different regular segments in the 90s called Ramona's Kids, and she was very active in the community, and she got to interview a lot of cool people. And her road to that, she didn't just become, an overnight success. There was a lot to getting there. So that's really what her A Dirt Road to Somewhere book is about, is her life story. And then Your Voice is Your Power is just really stopping the idea that you can't move forward and do something, and really just start becoming who God says you are.
Where will she be and when, and how do we get to attend? Because this will be so good.
She will be at the Stark Library, the Palace Theater, on February 20th at 6:30, and she will be, you can sign up for free tickets on our website, starklibrary.org.
I remember when she did become the solo anchor. I remember she was co-anchoring with someone, and they left. And I remember thinking, okay, I wonder who they're going to pair her up with next. And the answer was no one. She just carried it all on her own.
She could do it.
Absolutely. I remember thinking, she is pulling this off so well. But just one of those people that walks in a room, quite a presence.
Yeah,
she's really tall. First of all,
I've never seen her in person, so I'm really excited to see her and just hear her story, and get to meet her.
And just ageless.
Yeah.
Just
She's
ageless.
never. She looks the same as from when.
Exactly.
I saw her when I was little.
Just beautiful. Yeah. Don't say that to her.
Yeah, probably not.
You're the same as when I was little.
Yeah. You've never aged.
Yeah. Well, that part is good. Yeah, but what a talent, what a gift, and how wonderful for her to share that and inspire everyone. Dee, what have you got going on?
Oh, well, we have just opened up a new area in the library, and it is called the Maker Studio. And the studio is where people can come and work and build certain things that they may not have a little bit of space for, or if they don't own a sewing machine, they can use one of the sewing machines. We are filled with all kinds of different things that people might need, poster printers. We have a digital conversion station, 3D printers, sewing machines, serge machine, embroidery machines. And the really cool thing is about it, we have staff that are overeducated, actually. They are well, not just how to operate the machines, but utilize it themselves. That will be with the people to help them through the process of learning the machine, and also to make sure they don't get themselves in trouble while using it.
Yes.
We have classes that people can attend for everything from Sewing Machines 101, quilting classes, and we have our digital conversion classes that they can attend, or we do one-on-one 55-minute sessions to help people become that creative person they want to be.
I think somebody driving along saying to themselves, I could not possibly have heard that right. That you can stop at the library and say, I've got this idea of something. I hear you have a 3D printer here that I'm able to just jump on and use and make my thing. This is true?
That is true.
How many do you have? How many 3D printers, for example?
We have 3 3D printers.
Wow.
We teach classes on how to model your own 3D image, and also classes and one-on-one sessions on how to use a pre-made model and how we can then help you to start printing it on our 3D printers.
I could park here for way too long, but let's stall here for just a little while. For people who are not aware, a 3D printer is something, as I understand, you go to a computer and you sort of design something on a computer. You push a couple of buttons and suddenly something starts coming out with this plastic filament building that thing, laying it down layer by layer by layer in three-dimensional. And when you're finished, that shoe or whatever it is that you've drawn on the computer in 2 dimensions is suddenly a 3D shoe that you're holding.
You're almost correct. The 3D part of it, when you are creating the model, I use Tinkercad. When you're creating the model, you are actually looking at it from a 3D perspective.
So on the computer, when we draw it, we are showing the printer.
The entire thing, the entire perspective of the item.
Okay.
If you're building a cube, you must see all pieces and parts of the cube. If you're building a keychain or a dinosaur, all of those will be seen every inch because the platform on the computer actually spins. And so it's like molding it with clay, but only in this case, you are using the pieces and parts of the model that are provided.
Have they sped up how fast they print? Because I was one at a university I was working at, and it was like watching grass grow. It was a really thin filament that would go around in a slow, and a couple days later, your thing was made. How long does it take, or is it still that way?
It is slow.
Okay.
Growing grass is a good description for it.
Okay.
However, the models have improved dramatically. The actual 3D printers have improved dramatically. That the speed of the filament, not because of the heating, but because of the actual machine being far more accurate and just simply better made because they're past the experimental stage now. They're faster. However, it does take hours to print things out because it is laying it down one layer at a time, and there's also a webbing inside. So it's not just laying out the outer core, it's also laying the foundation, the platform, as well as the internal workings to support it.
Do you have limitations on the size of the thing we can build? Because I know people have built houses, homes with 3D printers now.
You can. Ours is small. Ours is only about an 8x8 platform. However, we've already had somebody build a castle. And they did it piece by piece.
Oh, my goodness. Like a dollhouse?
Yes. As a matter of fact, when she was completed with
my.
it. And so it was really pretty cool because we can paint the filament that comes out of ours. And so she did. She first printed a balcony, and it continued on, and she built another piece. And she had a castle already, and she came in and she made new parts for it. And we were very proud of that one.
What are the ages of people that are allowed to use these things?
If they have a parent with them, just come in. I can't teach a 3-year-old.
Wow, well, sure.
But at the age of 18, they can come in by themselves without needing parental help.
My goodness. So what a fun grandparent-grandchild day. Let's go make something with a 3D printer at the library, go for lunch, and come back, and it'll be there.
I have a group of a grandmother, a daughter, and a granddaughter that are coming in, and they're sewing together.
Oh, well, okay, that's a little lower tech, but that's just as fun.
Well, the computerized. The sewing machines are now
What?
computerized.
Okay.
The ones that we have embroidery in them as well as standard stitching. They're also quilting machines where you can do the finishing work of a quilt as well.
That's remarkable.
So sewing machines aren't just the old singers sewing machines.
No, that's what I've got in my head.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, no, it's way beyond that now.
Way beyond that. We have computerized embroidery machines that you put in your PES file, and it will embroidery whatever you put in there.
Amazing. I go back to what I've said so many times. Before you go to a store or sign up for some expensive class, check out the library first, yes? It's remarkable what I swear you all get together once a week and say, what else can we do?
It's not quite once a week, but once a month.
But you continue to reinvent yourselves so that this is not, a library is not where you go to check out a book. You can, but there is just infinitely more that you can do there.
We have to find ways to stay relevant in the world. And I think these classes and things like the Maker Studio and our author events, those are ways. And our early literacy services and programs are really great ways that we can do that.
Well, we haven't touched on the early literacy yet. Let's talk about the early literacy programs.
So the one that's currently going on right now, 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten, is ongoing, and it's a great program for parents to sign up their little ones. Any child before they get to kindergarten can be signed up, and basically the goal is to read 1,000 books before they get to kindergarten. And if you start at birth and you read less than a book a day, you'll get there before you turn 5. And many of our parents that come in are reading stacks of picture books at a time to their kiddos. So it's really exciting that they can come in every time they reach a different milestone. So our milestones are every 100 books, and they get a little token to say congratulations, you're going to the next level. And then at 500 books, they get a little prize. And then at 1,000 books, they get a special certificate and a special book that they can take with them and have forever. And it's been really popular so far. It's available at all of our locations, and parents can actually sign up online through our website, or they can stop in at any location and pick up a packet and have staff sign them up.
Do you have any feedback from kindergarten teachers? Because I'm thinking it could go one of two ways. Like, this is awesome. Or they might say, hey, leave something for us to do. So which is it?
I think that they're happy that we're helping out.
That's good,
so,
yes.
Yeah. 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten is a nationally recognized program. Many libraries do it throughout the country. And the whole goal is to get children reading and get them familiar with books and help get their parents familiar with reading on a regular basis with their children, because studies show that the more a child is read to and the more early literacy foundation they have before they go to kindergarten, the better off they'll be and the more school success they'll have.
As somebody said, yes, at first you learn to read because from then on you read to learn.
Exactly.
So way more school success if you've gotten reading nailed.
By third grade, reading becomes harder because we're not necessarily learning how to read anymore. We're learning to read. We're reading to learn rather, and so we really have to build that foundation really early.
Yeah,
so
comprehension that's the tricky one, isn't it?
We recommend talking, reading, just asking questions.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be super in depth. We're talking birth to age 5, so
right.
Just basic questions and just talking to children as much as we can really will help children get ready for school.
And picture books are okay?
Picture books are awesome for that. A lot of times, there's lots of words in picture books, and then there's also wordless picture books. And that's great for comprehension skills because you can just use the pictures to tell the story. And storytelling is one of the early literacy skills that it's one of my favorite to talk about, but it's one of the 6 early literacy skills that's important in setting up a child's foundation for school. So.
When we come back, because I'm looking at the clock, see we've got to take a break. It always goes too fast. I want to talk a little more about storytelling and hearing from a child's perspective of having them tell a few stories. When we come back, you're listening to Our Community. Welcome back to Our Community. Susie Thomas visiting with Julia Shaheen and Dee Rondinella, and we are talking about everything going on at the Stark County District Library. Storytelling. We kind of took a little pause on storytelling. Is it important for children to tell stories as well? Because sometimes it's just kind of funny and fun just to say to a child, how do I, give me the recipe for tell me how to bake a cake, and just let them make things up. How is that just for fun, or does that have any other value?
Oh, it's very valuable. We promote children. We promote telling stories, reading a book, having parents tell their children stories about when they were little. But it's also really important for children to tell stories and for children to be able to put things in order. And that's what storytelling does. It leads to comprehension. It leads to sequencing. And those are really important skills. Sequencing is a really hard skill for children to pick up. And by storytelling, we know, this has to happen first, then this happens, then this happens. So there's also that comprehension piece, understanding that, in order for this thing to happen or to have occurred, then this had to happen. So there's cause and effect also in there. All different important pieces when a child is learning to read and understanding what they're reading, because just because you can read doesn't mean you understand what you're reading.
Right.
And that's a whole other, that's a really
Good at
important
spewing out words.
Yeah, that's an important part of it as well.
Yes.
And we do that in our story times. We have we ask children questions while we're reading, and it's okay as you're reading to interrupt the book to ask questions. A lot of parents will say, "Well, is it okay to do that? I don't want to interrupt the flow." But that's how our children's staff will read stories, is just to make sure that children are understanding what's going on in the story and asking questions about what's going on in the book. And it's okay to use the pictures to tell the story, not necessarily to read every word in the book, because children are wiggly when they're little, and that's what they do. So going with their mood and going with what they want to do when you're reading is okay too. I get that question a lot from parents when I do literacy talks. But storytelling, talking, letting children just hear vocabulary words, and remembering that, for a baby, the word banana is $1 million word. So you don't have to use... It's
fun to hear them pronounce it, too.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have to use really giant words, like meteorology with them. We can, because it's great for them to know big words like that.
Sure.
But, letting them know that there's more than one way to say a word. Big, gigantic, huge, large.
And you can do that around a child.
Oh, sure.
It's okay to use some multisyllabic.
Yeah.
Well, they love dinosaurs, don't they?
They do, and they love picking out books that they really could never read in a day. They love picking out dinosaur books that have all the vocabulary in the world.
Yes.
Those encyclopedias that it would take us, months or maybe a year to get through. And really, they're just looking for the pictures. They're looking for the basic knowledge. And a lot of times the little ones can tell you the names of those dinosaurs better than the adults can.
Oh, they know them all. They can rattle them off.
Exactly.
Yep.
But it's okay to read those books. We have children that will come in the library and they'll want to pick out that big encyclopedia. And mom or dad or whoever the caregiver is will say, no, you can't read. We're not reading that. That's too big. But it's really more of making them feel empowered to be able to say, this is my library book. And also that it helps them they just want to look at the pictures, and you can sit with them as the adult and look through it as well and kind of pick out keywords for them to know. They like you read the captions of the pictures, because a lot of times those books have captions. So
and make up your own story
and make up your own story on that, and that's okay too, because it's all part of storytelling, and
right.
It'll help children regardless of which way you read that story. So
speaking of making, let's get back to this maker's workshop.
Okay.
What other things can we make at the library?
Well, we have vinyl cutter, and the vinyl cutter, we have a Cricut, which is more of a domestic type.
I need to know what all that means.
Okay. A Cricut is a machine that can cut different types of materials, whether it be vinyl, fabric, even some pieces of wood, it can cut for them. You would design your own or use an image using the Cricut software, which is Design Space, and then you can either do that at home or you can do it in the studio, and you come in and you bring your own material, and we help you loading the machine, and it will cut out the design that you've made. Think of iron-on T-shirts
Yes.
with logos on them.
Yes.
We have a lot of people coming in who want to make family reunion T-shirts. They want to make a small business logo type. We teach a class called GIMP, which is helping them to design their own logos and things like that, artistry, that can actually be transferred over to be cut on the Cricut so they can iron it onto a shirt or even a hat or something in that respect, mugs, plates, and things like that.
So for the price of the material itself, you just bring that on in, design your own family reunion logo T-shirt, and for free,
Yes.
come up with decals for everybody to go ahead and iron onto their shirts
Well, if you
and
wanted
go to
to-
Cedar Point together.
You can iron on it right inside the studio. We
Oh,
have
my.
a business style heat press. That heat press is on fabric. I mean, it's a large base to it, but it also does mugs and plates. So you
Oh, how
can
fun.
decal mugs and plates as all.
So that could be the first day of the reunion. The first activity is everybody goes and makes their matching stuff, and then you all look alike for the rest of the reunion.
Yeah, you can do something like that.
Dee, do you have any idea how expensive that is when you order the T-shirts? I could tell you. Anyway. Because, you all want to match, and it's smart. You can find each other. If you're all going to a big public place, it's smart to all look alike. Then
It is.
you can
Well, and they just
do
simply
it the
have
fun way
fun
and
doing
free.
it.
Yes.
A lot of people enjoy seeing their last names
Yes.
on a T-shirt and wandering around. We had one lady who actually printed her genealogy names right on, and she made it
As a
up.
tree.
Yeah,
That's what we did.
and so you can do that.
How cool. And you could do that for free at the library.
Yes, you just bring in your own materials.
Bring your own
And
materials.
that's it. And we will help you. We don't leave you alone. We'll teach you the equipment. We'll teach you the design space on it. We won't just walk away from you. We help
Like,
you.
have at it. Does vinyl stick to T-shirt fabric? How do you have some kind of a special machine
This
for
is-
that as well?
The vinyl itself is not just a standard vinyl. It is what is classified as an iron-on vinyl.
Got it.
And it can come in massive sheets of 36 by however long the roll is, or you can get something like an Oracle, or Joanne Fabrics, Sizzle. There's all kinds of them out there that they're a smaller cut, most of the time 12 by 18 or 12 by 24. The actual process is it has a mat that has sticky on it, and you lay that vinyl, whatever size you need it to be, on that mat, and then that is what runs through the machine. Once it comes out of the machine all cut, you then literally peel off the excess. And then we take what's left over to the heat press, put the T-shirt down, lay that on top of the T-shirt, put the heat press onto it, and in 20 seconds or less you have a completed T-shirt.
Voila. You're not waiting 3 weeks for it to come back to you from having ordered them online.
No.
You are making them yourselves.
people
How
come
much
in-
fun is that?
Oh, and they are. They're designing their own work. We had one lady. It was rather funny because she started at the editing station, which is our VHS conversion station, because we have GIMP on that. She designed her logo right there. She walked right over to the Cricut, brought up design space, and had it printed.
Incredible. Do you have times that are scheduled that you go over each of these things, or is this just every day is different depending on what someone wants to come in and do?
Both. We have open hours, which is 1 to 4 on Wednesdays and Thursdays. The other days are by appointment when I have a trainer available or myself available to meet the appointment need. And on our open days, we ask them to have an appointment, but they don't always. So when they walk in, it could be just something that, that's not set up yet. So we run and we set it up to help accommodate them.
And then are there classes? Do you have like evening classes or anything of like how to do a 3D
Yes,
something?
they're across the board. They're morning, afternoon, and evening.
Wow.
And you will see them in the Explorer. And
And
so-
that's the nice little magazine that comes into our mailboxes every so often. And there's Ramona Robinson right there. So don't throw this away. When you get that Explorer Stark Library, hang on to it because that's going to tell you everything you can do for free at the library.
Yes, it does.
Incredible. All right. You were mentioning that you can take one of the things that is a huge expense for families these days is to try and transfer some of their family videos onto DVD or get them digital in some way. You can help us with that?
That's our conversion station. It is highly popular, and you can take a VHS and you can convert it to digital. We give you the DVDs. We don't charge you to burn it onto the DVD. That's free. But if you want to put it onto your own external hard drive, that you bring your external hard drive in. So you can, or a cassette that came out of an old video recorder. We've been getting those, help people transfer those. There's the 8mm, which is the larger rolls that, if you think of your old school days with
Right.
the big giant projector.
I
that's
thought there was
close.
no such thing to play those on anymore.
Oh no, we have that. that capability. But that takes a little more time, so when
Sure.
you drop off the 8mm, we will do it for you. But you
Sure.
have to schedule the appointment, and, to say, hey, can you convert this for me? So we can do that. And our station this spring is also going to be an editing station. So when you do your conversion, maybe you really don't want to see Aunt Hilda doing that. You can actually
take some
remove
things
it,
out.
off of your final cut. So, that will be an editing station for both video and audio.
Totally blown away once again. I'll say it again. Always check out the library first. What do you have what happened at your last meeting? What did you come up with? Did you?
It was top secret. We can't
Okay,
talk.
I suppose.
I can tell about the Maker Fair, though.
Maker
Well, we have a
Fair.
couple, we do have a couple.
All
extra
right, tell
things
me some
coming up,
events
yeah.
that we need to get on our calendar.
Our Maker Fair is coming on May the 1st, and it's around 2 o'clock. That's set up time to 6 p.m. And we're going to have people who are makers and our schools from our STEM and STEAM programs there, and their wares will be there, and they will be able to demonstrate how they make them.
Wow.
And so people will be able to come in and see these makers that are right here from Stark County. Most of them in their basements are coming out, and they're showing people, okay, this is how you crochet. This is how you make jewelry. And we have a lady who does glass jewelry. Oh, it's absolutely gorgeous.
My.
Paint, decorate cookies, beekeepers. I mean, you name it, we have them come in.
I love that they're all
it's a really
referred
good
to as
fair.
makers. Mm-hmm. You make something,
You're a maker.
I think you're a maker.
You're a maker.
I love that.
We
It's becoming spring, and do you have the seed program going
We'll
on?
have the seed bank coming up again. And then we also have the Eco Fair, which will be on March 7th. And that'll be really cool. They're going to have workshops on planting microgreens, wildlife, feral cats, birdseed.
Microgreens, some people are. I happen to know what that is, so I'm so enthralled by it. Explain what a microgreen is.
They're going to be able to learn how to grow a microgreen. And from what I understand, microgreens are not your lettuces and your your big lettuce leaves. They're the smaller of the
Tiny,
leaves,
like
the tiny little things.
like a little herb.
Yeah,
that
like
tastes
herbs.
exactly like lettuce.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's
So-
unbelievable. Yeah, you can have like a tiny little herb garden.
but it's
And
lettuce. It's not lettuce, but it is.
But it is, and yet it is. But you want that taste of garlic, you can have it. You want that little taste of basil, but it's tiny, and you just throw it on in there.
And it's great for small spaces too, because know,
Yes.
if you don't have a huge garden space, you can grow microgreens.
One of my best friends ever is a master gardener, and she was trying to explain microgreens to me, and it was like I was just totally blown away by this idea. So when is that taking place?
That's on March 7th, and it'll be at Main Library. It'll be up on our website very soon. So
Will there be
check-
samples?
That I don't know, but I guess you'll have to come to the event and find out.
Absolutely worth coming.
But you can check more information out very soon on starklibrary.org. It'll be a full day from 9 to 4 on March 7th of really fun things.
I want to make sure we have not forgotten to cover any of the events that you want to make sure that we know about. Are we good? Or should we just keep going to the website?
I think we can go to the website for
All right.
all other programming.
Awesome, because there's always something going on at the Stark
There
County
is.
District Library. Give us that website one more time.
It's www.starklibrary.org.
Julia Shaheen and Dee Rondinella, thank you so much for all you do in our community.